Okay, so the first tool is called the Life Audit. And the purpose of this tool is to help you see where you are right now in your life, what's working, what's not working, and then also define your definition of success. And this is important because if you don't define your definition of success, you're going to end up living someone else's version of it, someone else's idea or definition of it. So when we use this tool, we can focus on what matters most to us, and then we can make aligned choices and changes that actually feels good in our system. So how to get a sense of your life balance? You're first going to rate how fulfilled you are in each domain of your life. So health, love, work, play, all of those. And you're going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. And then you're going to quickly rate how fulfilled you want to be in each area in 12 months. Or you can do it in 6 months, or you can even do it in 3 months. You can use this tool in different ways. But for now, we're going to do it 12 months. And you're going to reflect on, why did I give it that number? When I rate health as 5, like, why did I give it that number? What makes it 5 and not 4? What makes it 5 and not 6? And then you're going to notice what's going well, what's going really well right now, and what's missing. And the reason this is really great is because when you identify what's going well, you are essentially getting some clarity around the data of your lived experience that this works, this feels really good in my system. Now I'm going to double down on it. And then when you go into what's missing, what you're doing is you're creating an opportunity for your brain to get clear on what is not here that would actually support me. And then you go and experiment with that. And it's either going to work or not. If it works, then you do more of it. If it doesn't, then you experiment with a different thing. And then you're going to define what a 10 looks like for you, looks and feels like in your system. And this is when you get clear on your definition of success. And then you're going to ask yourself, okay, what would make this area feel 1 point better? So if it's a 5 right now, what would make it a 6? And I'm going to go through all of this in details with you, but that's the overview of it. Okay, so when we look at the life domains, here are some of the domains that I have created and suggested for you. It doesn't mean that you need to adhere to this. If you have a domain in your life like religion or self-esteem that you want to work on, but it's not in here, feel free to add your own, or feel free to replace it with something else here. So we have body, mind, spirit, love, family, community, money, work, play, and space. So body is basically your physical health and vitality, so your well-being. The mind is your mental and emotional well-being, and then also intellect. Your spirit is essentially your sense of meaning and connection to something greater than you. So it's more expansive. It's a more expansive practice. Love is your most significant relationship, your intimate relationships. Family is those closest to your heart. Community, the friendships and groups that you belong to. And if you want to collapse family and friends, that works too. So you can even create relationships as a domain of life. If you don't want to separate them yet, that's completely okay. I would err on the side of less categories than more. I want you to stick with less than 10, if not 12, like no more than 12. You don't want to go to like 20 categories because it's going to get really overwhelming. So keep it to 10 ideally. 8 is even better. Okay. So money, your financial outlook in life, work, your professional aspirations, play, the fun that rejuvenates you, space, your surroundings where you live, work, and rest. So your environment. And you're going to use the wheel of life, which is another tool that helps you zoom out and see your life as from a holistic view. And then you're going to quickly rate where you are right now. So the body might be 5, the mind might be 3, spirit might be 4. So you're going to go around and rate all of them. And then we're going to also rate where you want to be in terms of fulfillment in 12 months. So body might move to an 8 and the mind the same. You're placing a lot of importance in the season for you to focus on the mind. Right? So rate that, and then we're gonna slow reel down and reflect. What if you gave body a 5? Reflect on why did you give it that number? So a 5 might be, okay, I'm giving it a 5 because I've been eating kind of well, but I haven't really moved my body as much as I would like to. Or the mind might be, okay, I'm rating it a 3 because I notice that my thoughts feel really scattered this season, and I've been feeling really anxious most days. And I really don't want to feel scattered and anxious. So right now it's a 3. Right? So you're going to go through every single category and reflect on why you give it that number. And then we're going to reflect on, okay, I gave my body a 5. What's going really well in this category and what's missing? So, for example, the body might be, okay, what's going really well is eating better when I don't default to ordering out and I cook something myself using whole foods. That feels better in my system. And walking after dinner or like walking in the morning actually like has been really helpful for me to stay active in a way that doesn't feel forceful, right? So eating better and walking has been really going well. And then what's missing might be, you know, a ritual or routine or like consistency in my movement, I think will be really supportive. And I also noticed that sleeping, like right now, it might be I've been sleeping at 6 hours, and I notice that when I sleep better, I show up better the next day. So if I can move my 6 from 6 to 7 or 8 hours and getting a deeper rest, that would really be supportive. So that's what's missing. So now what we're doing is we're slowing down to use the lived experience as a way to inform us on what's working and what's not working. So what we can do more of what's working, and then we can start looking into creating space for what's missing and experimenting with that. And the thing with what's missing is it's our best guess, right? We're just guessing that this is what's going to make my body go from 5 to perhaps 6 or 7 or 8. And then we'll experiment with it. Let me try this out. And if it works, then we put it into the this is going well category and do more of it. And then look for what else is missing so that we can keep um, elevating our level of fulfillment in life. Now, for some people, creating a ritual or routine around movement might not feel good in their system right now. And that might make it go from 5 to 4 because they notice something else that occur as a result of experimenting with that. And that's really helpful information. And that's exactly why we're slowing down to get clear on our sense of self by keeping um, the prompts really simple so we can go into experimenting. And then we go into what would a 10 look, feel, and sound like for you? This is when we get to really define our definition of success. So in the body, if right now it's a 5, what would a 10 look like? What's the ultimate fulfillment here? And then you start to stretch yourself and go into that space of, okay, if it's a 10, 10 feels like I am strong. I feel strong. I am rested. I am nourished in my movement and my food. So now we're really clear that when I get to feeling strong and energized and well rested and feeling really good and nourished in my body, that's a 10. That way, when we get there, we know that we have gotten there and we can celebrate. Otherwise, the the bars just keep moving, right? We're never going to be fulfilled. So it's really helpful to define what it is so our brain can look for it and can support us. And we can also recognize when we get there. And you're going to do that for the different domains of life. And then we're going to slow down. And now we're going to get really clear on okay, if I have rated my body as a 5, what would make it a 6? What would make each area feel 1 point better? So, for example, body might be okay, for me to move from 5 to 6, it would be to take a morning walk 3 times a week. Because I notice that I do it once a week right now and it feels really good. I want to up my game. I want to do it 3 times a week. If I do that, then it will feel like I'm at a 6. So notice how it feels really doable to just commit to moving from 5 to 6 rather than committing to a 10 and then overwhelming ourselves with all of these tasks and to-do lists that feels like a should now in our system. And it feels like pressure and it feels like overwhelm. So we don't want to overwhelm the system. We just want to connect with something small, something that we can show up and feel good and experiment with it and get to know ourselves from that place of I'm excited to do it because it's doable, it feels good. I know it's going to feel really enriching and supportive in my system. And then you're going to go through the entire process for each domain. And I find it really helpful too if you want to explore a little further to go into reflecting okay, if I rated my body at a 5, what makes me not rate it as a 4? What makes it not 4 and makes it 5? Because that way we get to actually be with what we've been doing well already. We get to celebrate ourselves for having accomplished that. And we get to also see that, oh, here are things that have been really working. And then we can do more of that. So play around, keep it simple, don't overthink it, and happy practicing.